Welcome. I'm Juana, Slade, Chief Diversity Officer with ANMET Health in Anderson, South Carolina.
I'm Kirby Mitchell, Legal Director of Greenville's Medical Legal Partnership. What an honor to serve as your emcees for the 16th Annual Upstate Diversity Leadership Awards. What an exciting and energizing event celebrating community, diversity, and the positive changes we see all around us in the Upstate.
For those of you who typically attend this event in person, you know it's a great time of fellowship, networking, congratulating the award winners, catching up with old friends and familiar faces, and meeting and making new friends. While this year looks much different, our goal is still very much the same.
These awards recognize our community's true heroes, the individuals and organizations who work tirelessly and lead courageously to make the Upstate such a dynamic, progressive, and inclusive place to work and live. Whether in person or virtual, these award recipients deserve to be celebrated.
There are many generous sponsors who believe in the mission of the Upstate Diversity Leadership Awards, and their commitment makes this endeavor possible. Our diversity champions are ARC and Media and the Greenville News.
Our diversity award partners are BMW Manufacturing, Diversity Leadership in Action, Furman University, Greenville Technical College, Hughes Agency, and TD Bank.
And our diversity friends are AFL, ANMET Health, Bon Secours St. Francis Health System, and Prisma Health.
Thank you to these partners who recognize the importance of bringing awareness to the organizations and individuals in our community who are fostering inclusivity and creating change.
Collaboration is an important part of any successful endeavor, and this event is no different. Furman University's Riley Institute and the Greenville Chamber, along with the support from other upstate chambers, recognize that our region benefits the most when we work together.
Since the fall of 2003, the Riley Institute at Furman has supported diversity leadership and fostered meaningful relationships through its Diversity Leaders Initiative. A graduate of Class 4, I can say firsthand what an incredible resource this program is for our community.
More than 2,000 graduates statewide, called Riley Fellows, are creating cultures in their own organizations and communities that utilize diversity in positive and sustainable ways, embracing and empowering all people regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, cultural background, socioeconomic status, or physical or mental disabilities, capitalizing on the unique gifts that each individual can bring to our society. These awards are actually a result of the creativity and foresight of the Upstate DLI Class 2, of which I am a part. Our class shared a vision for an annual event to honor outstanding individuals and organizations in the Upstate who are moving the diversity needle forward.
Each year, the selection committee receives an impressive portfolio of nominations, which are evaluated based on specific criteria and voted on by a committee comprised of graduates from various Upstate DLI classes who are not affiliated with any of the chambers or the Riley Institute.
In 2010, the Valued Lives Capstone Group recognized the need to honor K-12 schools in the Upstate region who are meeting central qualities of diversity. Bill Wiley, former member of the South Carolina House of Representatives, embodied the ideals of this award. He worked tirelessly to strengthen and improve the lives of people he touched. This award, presented by Furman University, is meant to honor Bill and serves as a reflection of his life. Our 2020 K-12 school recipient is Tanglewood Middle School. Let's hear from their principal, Dr. Grayson Wells.
Tanglewood Middle School is comprised of 40% African American, 40% or so Latino families, 12% white families, and then 8% other multiracial families. So, you know, on a daily basis, when you come to the school, you're going to see students from everywhere. And even within the Latino community, you have nations, probably 15 nations or so represented with the Latino community. So we have a lot of diversity at the school, even within particular nationalities. So we have to be very conscious about that when we're doing anything at the school. So yeah, with so many students coming from a variety of different minority backgrounds, it brings to us the challenges of meeting a lot of needs. So that includes economic challenges or needs that we have to meet, mental health, cultural. So because of that, we have to think very broadly about how we are bringing resources into the school to ensure that every student is met, we're meeting them where they are. And that's a challenge because we can't do everything all the time. But I do believe the groundwork that was laid last year and the years prior have really enabled us to do that better. So the opportunity for us to address poverty. We know that a lot of students are struggling because they're in environments where they aren't able to learn to their max or to their potential. So then we provide after-school support or Saturday school support, or an opportunity for students to meet with our teachers through Zoom, which this year is a big thing because our students are only there 2 days out of the week. So that whole opportunity to make sure that we're present and available for students is really important, but doing that and being sensitive about what their needs are is even more important, so that we are coming and being as authentic as we possibly can to connect with students. So it changes the dynamics a lot because we're not able to just go into the classroom to teach. We have to go in and understand our students a lot better and deeper than probably a typical or traditional school would. So I think it's awesome that we have students from Colombia, Bolivia, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and so there are so many different nationalities there. It just creates a richness to the school that allows students to learn about the world within their own context. And so I think that's important because when you're a traditional school that may be all black or maybe all white or half and half, you don't have that extra piece of culture to add to the richness of the community, and I believe Tanglewood has that. I also believe the partnership with United Way and Prisma really creates some differences at Tanglewood that really makes our school, I think, a little different than every other school. So students that don't have medical care, they get that. So I think that's really awesome. And then the partnership with United Way also provides us an opportunity to implement what's called a EWRS, or Emergency Warning Response System, so that we are looking at what's going on with students, with their attendance, their behavior. All of those things are really important, so we can identify red flags early on, so that if students are struggling in those areas, we can address those areas, provide means by which they can create some change in their lives. So some of the programs that really, I think, support the students that come to Tanglewood include a biking program. That's been going on, I think, now for 3 years. And they go on a trail and they're riding their bikes. And some students didn't know how to ride bikes, so they actually get to learn how to ride bikes. So those things kind of make Tanglewood a little different, and I think really allow students to experience the richness of a diverse community. Tanglewood is really focused on closing the achievement gap, as well as trying to address the opportunity gap, because we know there's a connection when students in the community have challenges that are connected to poverty, but also we're really big on the academic piece. So after school programs, Saturday school programs, lots of enrichment, whether that's right before school starts. All of those things are taken into consideration when we're talking about ensuring that the achievement gap is closed. And it's a lot of work, but we know with the kind of school that we work with, that's what we have to do. Our tagline at Tanglewood is "It takes a village." And really what that's about is community, parents, our teachers, our staff, our students, all coming together focused on ensuring that the student is, at the end of the day, is successful, but knowing that that's not gonna happen if it's fragmented, broken. We have to be in close partnership and relationship with one thing in mind: the kid, the student, the child.
What an inspiration Tanglewood Middle School is. The Outstanding High School Student Award, sponsored by Greenville Technical College, goes to Parker Egbert. A special needs student at Emerald High School in Greenwood, Parker is breaking down barriers and fighting adversity daily. A highly ranked competitive swimmer for Team Greenville, Parker holds an American record in the 400 IM for his classification and is in qualification for the Paralympics.
Hi, my name is Parker Egbert. I am 17 years old. I am a junior in Emerald High School in Greenwood, South Carolina. My mom and dad taught me how to swim when I was 3. Then when I was 11, I started swimming with Special Olympics in Greenville. I loved it and I want to swim more. It makes me happy to be in the water. And I can show people what I can do even with autism. I started swimming at my local YMCA. Then when I was 14, I just joined the best swim team around, Team Greenville. My first coach there was Coach Johnny. My favorite events is the 100-meter backstroke and the 200-meter backstroke. And I'm the fastest in the backstroke. And I broke the American record in the 400-meter IM in Ithaca, New York with Team USA. My mom and dad drove me from Greenwood over 9 times a week, 1 hour each drive way, and I spent 20 hours just traveling in the car. Having autism is different than understanding things hard, so I work harder, I don't give up, and I don't ring the bell. I want to be a gold medalist for Team USA. I want to live in Colorado Springs and train at the Olympic Training Center. I want to live on my own and be a grown-up all by myself. I have 2 role models. The first role model is my coach, Bill. He loves me and he whistles for me to go fast in the pool. He believes in me and he loves me for who I am. The second role model is Silas Crosby. He is my protector and he helps me make friends and with swimming. He is fast and I wish I can be fast like him someday. He is going to college next year and I'm going to miss him. I want to show everyone that you can do it. You can be brave and you can do lots of things even with autism.
Parker, wow, what an incredible 16-year-old. The Outstanding College Student Award, sponsored by the Hughes Agency, goes to Alyssa Adair Smith, a recent graduate of Furman University.
I'm Alyssa Smith, but I go by Adair. That's what all my friends call me anyways. And I'm from Greenwood, South Carolina, recent grad of Furman University, class of 2020. Because like diversity is like, it's so much, and really it's just about differences. And so differences in identity, differences in taste, differences in location. So it's just all about, you know, encapsulating the differences in whatever circumstance or situation you may find yourself in. Just, you know, being exposed to different thoughts, ideas, people, cultures, foods, tastes, just, I mean, it plays like everything we do is about diversity. And I feel like if we're actively avoiding diversity, then we're just like missing out on so much. You know, we could be learning so many things just by existing, because diversity is literally everything around us. There are many different ways to get to a certain goal, and so I think just being able to hear everyone's ideas, thoughts, seeing different perspectives, seeing different backgrounds is important, because, you know, we can all want the same thing, but I think it's really valuable when we have so many different options or ways to get to that one thing. I was in a lot of student organizations on campus. I was part of Student Diversity Council, Furman's chapter of the NAACP, Furman Pride Alliance, Student League for Black Culture, and I wanted to be a part of those organizations because it just created like a sense of community, because I'm like a homebody. Like, I like staying at home. I like being in Greenwood. I like being with my family, with my mom, and just staying at home. But you know, when you're in college, you can't really be at home all the time. And so I think I found those organizations because it aligned so much with my identity. And so just being able to find, you know, like my people or people who were just interested or shared, you know, similar backgrounds or similar, you know, cultural experiences as me was important to help me feel like I was a part of a community.
It's so encouraging to see the passion of young leaders like Adair. I'm Carlos Phillips, President and CEO of the Greenville Chamber. And before we continue with our program of recognizing these incredible leaders, I'm honored to sit down with Don Gordon, Executive Director of Furman University's Riley Institute. Don, this is the 16th annual Upstate Diversity Leadership Awards celebration. It's been a great partnership between the Riley Institute, the Chamber, and other Upstate chambers from the area. I wasn't here for the start of this wonderful initiative, so could you spend a few moments just sharing the history of the celebration?
Carlos, it's been a wonderful partnership and we appreciated it so much. You will remember that I think that we started in 2004 in a capstone project of the Inclusion and Fusion. And that group came to me and said at the end, we want to do this incredible celebration of leaders and organizations that have used diversity, leveraged diversity to make South Carolina and the Upstate a better place. And would the Riley Institute help? And I said, yes, we will definitely help, but we can't do it by ourselves. Ben Haskey was in that class, your predecessor in the chamber. And I went to Ben, and Ben said immediately, absolutely, we really want to do this. So that's when the partnership began. And we began that program, had the first program on May the 10th, 2005, 600 people there at the Palmetto Expo Center,
Wow.
and the rest is history. That was 16 years ago, and we're moving strong.
This is one of our signature events each year for the reasons Don just outlined. The Chamber's vision is of a globally competitive upstate economy where businesses succeed and people prosper. And this event epitomizes that vision. We have a robust diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy, and this initiative is an integral part of that strategy.
Well, Carlos, first, we are so proud of what the Chamber's been doing in diversity and inclusion. It's impressive. As you probably know, since 1999, when the Riley Institute came in, we thought that it was extremely important to deal with the isms that had kept South Carolina back. So we wanted to bring all the people in the state into the social and economic mainstream of South Carolina. We see diversity as a strength. We see it as a way of moving forward economically in this competitive global environment. And we're dedicated to doing that, and we love the partnership with the Chamber and the other chambers in doing this very thing.
The Chamber has long held the belief that such initiatives are not only the right thing to do, but there's a business case as well. Countless studies have found that diversity and inclusion efforts lead to better business performance, better team collaboration, and can even lead to better financial returns. We work collaboratively with partners throughout the region to build a more inclusive community, equitable systems, and more diverse organizations. Don, I think you'll agree that it takes all of us working together to drive meaningful change.
Carlos, I totally agree with that, and congratulations to all of the winners. You've given so much of your time and your resources, particularly during this pandemic, and we just appreciate you so much. And what you've given us in addition is hope for the future. So congratulations to you all. You're much appreciated.
This is truly such an inspiring group of leaders. Now, let's hear from our nonprofit recipient, sponsored by BMW Manufacturing, the Institute for Child Success.
My name is Jamie Moon, and I'm the president of the Institute for Child Success, ICS. And the mission of the Institute for Child Success is the success of all young children, which we define as prenatal to age 8. And the mission of the Institute for Child Success is that we want to see all children succeed, and we do that through an applied policy research methodology. We are a nonpartisan, nonprofit, private policy and research organization. Some might like to think of us as a think tank, but I tend to think we're best described as a think-do tank, because we take the best practices, the best policies that we identify through research and bring them to bear in the state of South Carolina through policy, through practice, and through advocacy. For children and families in our state, these new resources that the Institute for Child Success has brought to bear, together with our partners, mean much better academic and health outcomes for the children and families that we serve. It means that in the case of the expansion of the Nurse-Family Partnership, thousands of additional mothers and babies are able to take advantage of that important home visiting program and intervention. It means that tens of thousands of additional young children age 4 are able now to attend publicly funded 4-year-old kindergarten. And it means, in the case of Reach Out and Read, it means that 53,000 additional children are able to take advantage of this wonderful early literacy program in their medical homes. We basically found through our research, and we published a number of white papers and extensive studies on the topic, we essentially found that states that had a higher earned income tax credit for working families were also enjoying better health and better academic outcomes. We look at any and all issues and as they relate to early childhood, because we know that early childhood is a microcosm of what goes on in society at large, whether those are good things or bad things, and the Earned Income Tax Credit was one mechanism we were able to use to really improve the lives of children in South Carolina. The doctors, the healthcare providers, prescribe books and reading to the families when the children come in for well visits, well baby visits, and then well child visits. The doctor, she or he, will prescribe a book and give the family a book and ask that the family and the child read the book together, or at least look at the pictures together in the case of children developing early literacy skills, and the results are amazing. As a result of the work that we did at the Institute for Child Success together with our partners, we were able to successfully advocate for having the General Assembly of South Carolina State House allocate $1 million a year recurring for this important intervention, and that had the impact of expanding the Reach Out and Read program to 53,000 additional children in the state of South Carolina each year. We are motivated every day by the question, what is good for the children? And try to weave what is good for the children into the policies and practices that we propose to lawmakers, foundations, and others in a position to create real change in the lives of children and families.
Nonprofits and businesses alike continue to recognize the critical role that fostering diversity and inclusion has in developing successful operations. Let's hear from our Outstanding Business recipient, sponsored by TD Bank, Milliken.
My name is Raquel Harris. I'm the Director of Diversity and Inclusion at Milliken. We're a global company with about 8,000 associates, 42 locations, and about 4 divisions. So our chemical, floor covering, healthcare, and textile manufacturing divisions really focus on building this environment, this culture, where every associate can bring their true, authentic self to work each and every day. Milliken's been on this journey for about 3 years, and initially we rolled out our first ever Diversity and Inclusion Council. So that council has about 16 diverse champions across all of our divisions and throughout the organization, really to help us, again, foster this environment where every associate is valued, respected, and engaged, because it's the right thing to do. It ultimately is a business enabler for Milliken. It ensures that our culture is the career destination for attracting top talent and helps us impact our community. So we have 5 associate networks. We have one for women, new kids on the block or our new hires, minorities, military and veterans, and then our LGBTQ and allies network. So we have about 800 associates that participate in these, and our women's network is the biggest as it has expanded globally. Our associate networks have been very successful. I think during this time, the ability to go virtual has allowed more people to participate and get engaged. We've seen a lot of associates step up and take leadership roles as we lean towards professional development, community outreach, and then definitely our ORIC Health survey scores have increased slightly because of our work with these networks. We rolled out our unconscious bias training initially. That was really to focus on bias and the impacts that it has on us and the decisions we make in the workplace. And now this year we're focused on allyship. So I've made you aware, I've educated you on bias. Now let's talk about activation and what do you actually do and what do you say, how do you respond as an ally. So we've had 92% satisfaction rate with our training. We've also had to go out and teach our courses to our community partners. They've also gotten engaged. And then we've used bias as a way to help us implement a best practice around hiring. So our greatest challenge, and then ultimately probably leads into our biggest success, has been our journey around LGBTQ inclusion. Initially, we probably felt like that would be the biggest challenge, but our response has been overwhelmingly positive. The majority of our comments have been in favor of our LGBTQ inclusion efforts. And so we, last October 11th, we celebrated National Coming Out Day with I'm in shirts, I'm inclusive, signaling to the organization that you're welcome here at Milliken, regardless of age, sex, gender, sexual orientation, etc. And then, we were able to formally launch our LGBTQ and Allies Network December of 2019. I think our motivation, my motivation in particular, comes from the support of our senior leadership team, our board, our owners. I mean, none of this work is possible if I don't have their support and their encouragement constantly. So they understand that this is a business imperative. So we've continued to press forward. And then ultimately it's who we are, right? Our purpose statement is that we, together we strive to positively impact the world around us for generations to come. And so that key word there, together, again, reiterates our purpose and value behind inclusion. Our current focus areas are to help us build an internal pipeline that will lead to future leadership positions. As I mentioned earlier, our initial focus has been centered around our headquarters building, ultimately with management engagement. And I really need to figure out a way to expand to incorporate our manufacturing community as well as our production associates. And so that'll be a big push for us as well. And then ultimately making sure that we use our voice to continue to promote inclusion within our community. Diversity is around us, all the time, right? So we choose how we react to it, right? So if we accept it, then we are promoting an environment that increases engagement, productivity, innovation, etc. If we choose to deny it or ignore it, then ultimately we're stifling talent, creativity, and innovation. Milliken's been around for 150 years, and if we plan to be around for another 150 years, we have to embrace it. It is definitely what will allow us to withstand the test of times.
Thank you, Milliken, for helping lead the way. Our final award recognizes an individual for outstanding achievement in promoting diversity. It is named for Caller D. Ehrman, a steadfast pillar in this community, a fierce friend to all, and a leader among leaders. Sean Dogan is no stranger to most in the Upstate, and he is the highly deserving recipient of the 2020 Calder D. Ehrman Outstanding Individual Award, sponsored by Diversity Leadership in Action. As pastor of Long Branch Baptist Church and an advocate for many causes, Sean's mission is to serve all walks of life in our community. Let's hear more about Sean's purpose and his story.
I was born and raised here in Greenville, and I love this place. It is special to me. My wife and daughter reside with me, and I'm just happy to be a citizen and hopefully a productive citizen of Greenville County. Well, at Long Branch, I'm the senior pastor, and I have been in that role for the past 22 years. It's been a lot of growth, a lot of challenges in the community, but we have faced them, and a wonderful congregation, a wonderful community, and I'm glad to be a part. The demographics of Long Branch is primarily African American, and the neighborhood is greatly changing. When I first got there 22 years ago, it was, I would say, probably 99% African American. But because of gentrification and other things such as growth of Greenville, those demographics have greatly changed. Programs that we have implemented at Long Branch that help the surrounding communities are senior feeding programs, fresh fruits and vegetables to our community, especially since we're in a food desert, helping people with rental assistance or utilities, helping people navigate through life, whether that is job readiness programs, getting them ready for interviews, or whatever the case may be, in order to help people navigate through life. Well, my goals and my current goals and future goals for programs is to make sure that we are part of conversations. And so as we're part of conversations, listening and hearing and collaborating with others to make sure that we're providing services in the community that will benefit the community. So with COVID and all of the other things that are taking place with unemployment rates the way that they are, I see us really helping the community navigate through these troubled times. Well, I am the interim CEO and president of the Urban League of the Upstate, and there we advocate for education, financial stability, and other worthwhile programs for those who are underserved. I also serve with United Way and other nonprofits, whether it's board service or community volunteerism. I truly feel that it is a calling. I truly feel that helping others is something that I'm destined to do, and solving problems is something that I truly enjoy, helping people and navigating and just helping them with life's circumstances. I believe diversity is showing up your full self, whether that is in thought, whether that is in lived experience, whether that is lending your voice to certain topics. I believe diversity is the whole you showing up and accepting the whole of someone else.
Congratulations, Sean. Very deserving of that award. And I want to thank Juana, and I want to tell you all, Juana, Slade, and I did not know each other before Diversity Leadership Institute. Thanks to DLI, we have gotten to know each other well, and in fact are working together right now. We are working to see if we can expand what I do, a medical legal partnership in Greenville, to the excellent healthcare provider she works for in Anderson, AnMed Health. Juana has helped me by introducing me to key professionals, pediatricians, and other clinicians at AnMed. I have presented to her colleagues. We'll see. We hope it's an example of what you can do through DLI and meeting people you otherwise would not have met in areas and professions that are not exactly yours, but areas that can really help our community. So thank you, Juana.
Thank you, Kirby. It's been my honor and pleasure to serve alongside you and to get to know you and to certainly get to know your work. I so admire what you do, and I hope that AnMed Health and the Anderson community can perhaps take advantage of your expertise. Now, as we conclude our time together, I want to take just a moment to remind us about how we got here, why we're virtually honoring this year's Upstate Diversity Leaders. COVID-19. As a member of the AnMed Health team, I've been humbled and inspired by the brave frontline healthcare workers across our system who have, for the better part of the last year, cared for patients every day in the face of and in spite of COVID-19. Much like our Upstate Diversity Leadership Award honorees, they are the true heroes of this pandemic. It has been reported in areas across the country and recognized by the U.S. Surgeon General that African American and Hispanic Latinx communities have been hit especially hard by COVID-19, and South Carolina is no different. While the African American population makes up just 27% of our state and 41% of confirmed cases, 56% of South Carolina's deaths have been African American. I believe this statistic speaks specifically to the health status that often persists in marginalized racial and ethnic minority communities. These data serve as stark reminders of the health inequities that we must work together to address. My friends, don't despair. We will recover from COVID-19, and we can be prepared for future cultural, viral, or social attacks. The recipe is simple, but challenging. To be ready, we will need to inspire more Tanglewood Middle School communities. We will need to encourage the tenacity and transparency of young leaders like Parker Egbert. We will need to ignite the fire from within more diverse champions like Alyssa Adair Smith. We must continue to shine our light on corporations that embrace the true spirit of corporate stewardship like Milliken. and we will encourage leaders like Sean Dogan to continue to walk and grow and not get weary. Congratulations to all our honorees, and thank you for the gift of your time.